Wisdom University. We're one of the sponsors of this event, the event commemorating the 10th anniversary of 9/11. We come at a time when we seek peace, we seek love, and all around us we're witnessing a deconstruction of reality as we know it. So there could not be more urgency in the conversation that this conference is trying to convene. At the core of what I believe we seek as human beings in the world that we find ourselves in is the kind of community that can inform and empower the kind of love and peace all of us want to manifest, but for some strange, highly ironic reasons we find so hard to embody. One of the most potent communities in the world today is Damanhur. And I'm very privileged today to be sitting with Esperide Ananas, who's the international coordinator of that community, which for over 30 years has cultivated both an understanding of community and an understanding of how people come together in community to explore the depth of spiritual love and peace, probably with more sophistication than any community of which I'm personally aware. So Esperide, I'm just delighted that we can be together, and the question that I would like to lead off on is what you, with all your experience in Damanhur, have discovered about community and what you would share at this moment of the 10th anniversary of 9/11.
Hi, Jim. Hi, everyone. This is a very interesting question because I've been living in Damanhur for almost 20 years, so I've been discovering many things. Probably, I would say that one of the most important things that I've learned is the importance of discipline. Because when we speak of creating something new, of course, the first thing we think of are the big, great ideals. So we want to create something new because we want to feel more love, because we want to reach alignment, because of many beautiful things. Then in order to achieve, we need to have daily practices. So the creation of community has to do with never getting discouraged, and day by day, really with the little things and the small things of everyday life, being able to continuously grow. So what is important for us, and what I've discovered, is the fact that it's fundamental to have a very high objective, so big that it might seem impossible to achieve, and at the same time, little steps, day by day, that can create the path towards that impossible goal. And most people, at least in the West, are not really used to the idea that practice and discipline are a fundamental ingredient, both for self-growth and collective growth. And we think that discipline is something that makes us less free, while it's actually the opposite. So it's the ability to understand that on a spiritual path, discipline is an instrument to freedom.
Let me ask you this. What's the relationship that you've discovered at Damanhur between the discipline that you talk about and resilience? How does discipline build resilient community?
I would say that discipline is also a way in which you learn to trust each other. Because if I know that you're able to control your emotions if they are exaggerated, or if you're able to know exactly what your place is in case of an emergency, I can trust you. And trust is the basis of resilience.
You know, another question that comes to mind came out of the Pentagon this last week, where one of the analysts said that we're going to have another 9/11, but it won't be an attack by other people. It's going to be an attack by Mother Nature through extreme weather events. How do you folks at Damanhur understand what's happening at the level of climactic turbulence? And how do you understand the kind of communication we should be actually having with the environment and with non-human intelligences?
Well, we also feel that it's very likely that that's because as a species we have been behaving like parasites on this planet, and parasites that are destructive, not only parasites that are neutral, but destructive parasites. So we really need a big change in consciousness very quickly to be able to prove to the earth first, and then to all the forces of the living ecosystem of which we are a part, that we can act differently. Otherwise, it is likely that the earth will want, through her intelligence, get rid of the species that is destroying all the other species. And we are always optimistic, so we're doing all we can in order for this not to happen. We believe that humanity has the possibility and the ability to change. And to do so is not enough the level of everyday actions, although those are indispensable, but we need to be able to tap into higher spiritual reservoirs. And this is why in Damanhur, while we were building a society, at the same time we've been building temples to create a container and a place where we contact cosmic forces that then can interact on the line of event that can make our survival possible.
I know at Damanhur you've done a lot of work over the 3 decades on communicating with plants, activating and communicating with trees. Speak about that for a bit in terms of what have you learned through your work about how humans can begin to communicate with other life forms?
But we have to really feel and understand that we are part of a living ecosystem. So from the bacteria to the highest divinities, to the God that all that is, we are all one, and the sense of separation that we have is not what is going to make it possible for humanity to make this leap. So being able to interact at least with the kingdoms that are closest to us, like the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom, is a fundamental step for humanity if we want to regain our balanced place in our world. So what we've discovered through our experiments is this. Well, first of all, trees are the holders of the memory of the earth, the memory of all the species. They can live thousands of years. They're not like humans. Their lifespan is very different, so they're holders of memories. When we kill trees, we're killing the memory of Gaia and the memory of humanity. So our soul is also becoming smaller and smaller because we're cutting pieces of ourselves all of the time. And there is a real urgency in being able to reestablish this connection with the plant world, to be able to orient ourselves and the plant world in the same way. This is why in Damanhur we have always been celebrating the solstices and the equinoxes. These are natural cosmic windows of communication between worlds, and in that moment it is the plants, they are the antennas for this communication. So re-establishing this awareness and these rhythms on our planet, we believe and hope, is one of the important steps towards a different way of being a human being. And therefore, going back to the beginning of our conversation, maybe the earth, we want to keep us here because we have the potential for actually bringing life to the universe instead of destroying life on our planet.
Final question. The whole purpose of this event ultimately is to supplant fear with love. That's the only way ultimately human beings are going to move beyond the mentality that produced 9/11. After your time at Damanhur, how do you understand fear? And how do you understand love?
How do I understand fear? This is an interesting question. I think the fear probably comes with the idea of having limits, of having limitations, instead of the idea of having dreams that you can follow. Because if you're living following a dream, I don't think you can have fear. You can have challenges, you can have paths that maybe don't work out, but you try another one because you're constantly living with a dream, which is an optimistic way of facing everything. So fear doesn't have much space in it. And also if you live following a dream, you understand that whenever you have a negative event, you can turn that into an opportunity to learn more, or maybe find a new way that you hadn't thought of. And love, in my experience, is something very practical. It has to be practical. It cannot be just like something that we speak about, or something that becomes so ephemeral. No universal love. It has to do with something that we can do every day, with a little bit of courage every day of doing something that maybe we wouldn't normally do. Little things that can make a big, big difference.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us, and we wish you all the best for a very successful event.